You never quite know whether you're going to get transactional Trump or you're going to get uber hawkish Trump. But I think at least on the tariff instrument, we need to largely take him at his word. He's enthusiastic about it. And you may have noticed that a lot of the tariffs that President Trump put in place in his first go around are still in place because the Biden administration developed its own enthusiasm for that set of instruments. On the opportunity side, there may be some opportunities for people to arbitrage the differential in tariff rates. They'll be higher on China than on other countries. If you're in the supply chain business, there may be some ways to play that game. But broadly speaking, I think a lot of Asian countries and Asian economies are kind of come under pressure. And it's not just a negotiating ploy, although it will be the entry of a negotiation between the Trump administration.
Yeah, well, Evan, can you talk to us a bit about the scale and the kind of the extent of the tariffs? I mean, a lot of talk is around China, but how about the impact on ASEAN, for example? Do you think that there is a broadening of these tariffs, and what's the reaction function of many of the countries in the region?
Well, I think there's going to be greater attentiveness to it on the Washington end than there was in Trump's first go around. We've seen a lot of behavior, including, for example, Chinese companies that have become fast-growing investors in countries like Vietnam, where if I'm not mistaken, in the months from April to August in 2024, China ranks second as an FDI partner behind Singapore, partly to try to get around the tariffs. People on Trump's team are much more attentive to that than they were last time, and I think it'll be harder for Asian countries to escape that kind of pressure. On the other hand, most countries in Asia are dealing with both geographic reality and economic gravity. And there are instruments in place, for example, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership that was largely a tariff reduction agreement that, for example, between China and some Southeast Asian countries, including but not limited to Vietnam, actually lowered tariff rates to zero. So if you're facing higher tariff rates vis-a-vis the United States, but zero tariffs or low tariffs for integration with China, the trend line the U.S. will find very difficult to arrest is going to be toward greater economic integration with China across a greater array of supply chains. And I think that's where a lot of ASEAN economies are going to position themselves.